King Jesus, King Jesus. Okay. Hey, I want to talk about new bombing that's going on in Syria right now. Started today with a press release. It says the Pentagon says the U.S. and partner nations have begun airstrikes in Syria against Islamic State militants using a mix of fighter jets, bombers, and Tomahawk missiles fired from ships in the region. Pentagon Press Secretary Rear Admiral John Kirby said that because the military operation is ongoing, no details can be provided yet. He says the decision to strike was made early Monday by the military. The strikes are part of an expanded military campaign that President Barack Obama authorized nearly 2 weeks ago in order to disrupt and destroy the Islamic State militants who have slaughtered thousands of people, beheaded Westerners, including 2 American journalists, and captured a large swath of territory stretching from within Syria to lands across northern and western Iraq. Now, in case you missed it, let's hear a little bit about what the president had to say about the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service 2 weeks ago when he announced his actions.
Which calls itself the Islamic State. Now let's make 2 things clear. ISIL is not Islamic. No religion condones the killing of innocents, and the vast majority of ISIL's victims have been Muslim. And ISIL is certainly not a state. It was formerly Al-Qaeda's affiliate in Iraq and has taken advantage of sectarian strife and Syria's civil war to gain territory on both sides of the Iraq-Syrian border. It is recognized by no government, nor by the people it subjugates. ISIL is a terrorist organization, pure and simple, and it has no vision other than the slaughter of all who stand in its way. Our objective is clear. We will degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL through a comprehensive and sustained counterterrorism strategy. First, we will conduct a systematic campaign of airstrikes against these terrorists. I've made it clear that we will hunt down terrorists who threaten our country wherever they are. That means I will not hesitate to take action against ISIL in Syria as well as Iraq. This is a core principle of my presidency. If you threaten America, you will find no safe haven. Second, we will increase our support to forces fighting these terrorists on the ground. In June, I deployed several hundred American service members to Iraq to assess how we can best support Iraqi security forces. Now that those teams have completed their work and Iraq has formed a government, we will send an additional 475 service members to Iraq. As I've said before, these American forces will not have a combat mission. We will not get dragged into another ground war in Iraq, but they are needed to support Iraqi and Kurdish forces with training, intelligence, and equipment. We'll also support Iraq's efforts to stand up National Guard units to help Sunni communities secure their own freedom from ISIL's control. Across the border in Syria, we have ramped up our military assistance to the Syrian opposition. Tonight I call on Congress again to give us additional authorities and resources to train and equip these fighters. In the fight against ISIL, we cannot rely on an Assad regime that terrorizes its own people, a regime that will never regain the legitimacy it has lost. Instead, we must strengthen the opposition as the best counterweight to extremists like ISIL, while pursuing the political solution necessary to solve Syria's crisis once and for all. Third, we will continue to draw on our substantial counterterrorism capabilities to prevent ISIL attacks. Working with our partners, we will redouble our efforts to cut off its funding, improve our intelligence, strengthen our defenses, counter its warped ideology, and stem the flow of foreign fighters into and out of the Middle East. And in 2 weeks, I will chair a meeting of the UN Security Council to further mobilize the international community around this effort. Fourth, we will continue to provide humanitarian assistance to innocent civilians who've been displaced by this terrorist organization. This includes Sunni and Shia Muslims who are at grave risk, as well as tens of thousands of Christians and other religious minorities. We cannot allow these communities to be driven from their ancient homelands.
So there we have it. The president, as he stated, is going to wipe out ISIS. And this is not a war against Assad in Syria. As the script of the news release clearly reads. So Obama's not putting troops on the ground. And I would bet that he is not backing up any other troops on the ground to fight Assad, because that would mean war with Russia. And I really don't think he's trying to go to war with Russia. There's no reason to go to war with Russia. There's no reason to depose Assad, other than what the globalists want. They want to install a central bank. They want more land for the Jews in Israel. They want more influence for the Jews in Israel. And they want access to Syria. That's what the Jews want. I don't think that's what Obama wants. So I think ISIS is going to be wiped out. The leader of ISIS is already dead. Now you hear the Zionists on Capitol Hill clamoring for strikes against Assad. Obama's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. And that's my opinion. Let's wait and see. I'm good. Although I don't advocate war, I think these Jews who masquerading as ISIS need to be wiped out. That's my opinion.